All right, very good. Thank you very much, Dita, for starting today's webinar. Good evening, guys. We are live again. What is it today? The 14th of January, 8 o'clock. We're mid-January. And we're actually going to talk about procrastination tonight. Welcome, guys. We are here live tonight on Zoom, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we're also recording on YouTube. So if everybody is watching, I know my wife is watching. Hello, Kieran. I know that you're watching live from YouTube. It's great. So on Zoom, let's see, who do we have? We have Andrew, we have Dennis, we have Eilish, Fede, Giovanna, Owen, and Wajiha. Nice guys. Lovely to have you. Quick introduction. I'm Dutch myself. I'm not always super fluent in English. You might catch me on a few errors here and there. Sometimes a bit like, what word should I use? Comes in natural. I've only been in Ireland for about 2.5 years. Been living abroad for a long time. Left my country about 20 years ago. Lived in Latin America, Caribbean, long time. Worked as an engineer for Caterpillar. That's a bit my background. But the main passion that I have is actually getting data and information, valuable information across to others. I'm very passionate about that. I've always had this little bit of like a teaching kind of thing in me. Already started when I was a young kid. When I would come back from school, I would teach my mom maths. I would teach her physics, all these kind of things. And so I've always had that passion to relay precious information. So tonight, we're going to talk about procrastination. But before we get there, maybe it's just nice if we do a little quick round here on the chat, and maybe you want to let us know where you're from and why in particular you came to this webinar tonight. If you're really fast with your keyboard, type it in, why you wanted to come here tonight and why did you want to join this webinar. If you're not that fast, maybe you just want to share with us where you're from. And after we have that, we're actually going to get started. So the chat is wide open. It's a bit of a custom here to have a lot of answering and questions and answering, Q&A, right? Just to make the whole thing a bit more livelier and also to make sure that you fully grasp the content of tonight. So once again, Andrew, Dennis, welcome guys. It's great to have you. Eilish, great to have you. Fede, Giovanna, Owen, and Jiha. Amazing, you guys are all here. So who do we have here? We have Giovanna from Trinidad and Tobago. Oh my God, I love that. You got these kettle drums, right? The steel drums. I have been living not too far away from you. I actually lived in Curacao. For people who are a bit familiar with the name Aruba, Curacao is an island adjacent to Aruba, not far away from it. Lived there for 10 years. So yeah, these are the Lesser Antilles, right? So are you, Giovanna, are you actually live right now following the webinar from Trinidad and Tobago, or did you decide to move somewhere else? Kind of curious. All right, Eilish is from Galway, beautiful place in Ireland. Yes. All right, there's a lot of things to say, good things to say about Galway. It's a beautiful area, nice and green, the rocks, the sea coast, all fantastic. All right, Andrews in Hampshire, that's in the UK. All right, joined to help me to get through a difficult time. All right, good. Thank you for that. And then we have Owen, Irish, Kildare. All right, so Owen, Kildare, all right, I can relate to that. I am in Wicklow. Actually, I should say we are based in Wicklow. And we have Dennis from Germany. Okay, let me just finish what did Owen have to say. All right, Kildare, finding procrastination is getting in the way of some of my goals. All right, so tonight we want to give you some tools for that, Owen. Cool. Dennis from Germany joined because I was curious to learn more about procrastination. Fantastic. Dennis, lovely to hear that. Okay, Fede in the UK, curious about a theory. And Jiha, all the way from Sydney. Oh my God. Nice. What an international crowd. All right, good. So let me just turn around here, show you that. Just to kick off tonight, procrastination basically is a word that is derived from Latin Pro means forward, cras means tomorrow. I kind of like forgot when actually it originated, what the year of the etymology is from, but you can look it up. I'm sure you can find it on the internet. But basically, just to let you know, the Romans already observed the phenomenon and already made a word for that, which is basically forward things till tomorrow. Well, as people say, when you keep forwarding things till tomorrow, actually never gets done, right? Okay, good. So we're gonna get started with clearing up a word tonight, and that word is flinch. So we have Dita here, who's actually helping us out. We have Pavel here as well. These guys are actually helping you guys in the chat. In case you have a question, just feel free to ask. I might not be able to answer your question right away. Dita and Pavel are standing by and they will try to answer any question that you have. All right, let me just wipe this out, and then we're going to go to the word flinch. If you find it, Tita. There it is. All right, flinch. So this is from the Collins Dictionary, and it says, if you flinch, you make a small, sudden movement, especially when something surprises you or hurts you. If you flinch from something unpleasant, you are unwilling to do it, or think about it, or you avoid doing it. So why do I bring this up? Well, I think this is totally in line with the whole subject of procrastination. You feel that you have an impulse, that you want to do something, you want to go into action and do something, and then you have this kind of like this uncomfortable feeling in your stomach, like an anxiety stomach or butterflies in your stomach. You get a bit twitchy, you get a bit nervous, and in other words, you flinch. There's something that kicks in. There's something that kicks in and now starts to control you. Now it controls you, but you don't control it. And we're going to have a look at that tonight. So once again, if you look at the definition, flinch, if you flinch from something unpleasant, you're unwilling to do it, or even think about it, or you avoid doing it. In other words, here's a phenomenon that the dictionary, or the guys actually who put the dictionaries together, already had an idea about that particular phenomenon of what is actually happening to people the moment they want to do something that could change your life, that could be really important to them, that could be beneficial to them. Like, for example, well, let's say you want to talk to your boss. Or let's say you want to approach a customer and see if he is ready to buy from you. Or maybe you want to settle some kind of an argument, and you just feel like you want to go in action, and then you flinch. All right? That is the concept here. So the etymology, which is the root, is from around 1570, from Old French, fléchir, meaning to bend, to turn aside. So I got a little warm-up question for you guys. A warm-up question. Just a yes or no will suffice. But if you want, and once again, if you're really fast with your keyboard, feel totally free to give us an example what you're running into. In other words, when do you flinch? So my question is this: have you just observed that, or have you observed this in yourself, that whenever you wanted to go in action and do something that was really pro-survival for you, that you had this second thought and just flinched? That is the question. Can you relate to this, in other words? Have you seen this in yourself? You wanted to do something that was actually good for your own survival, or that was going to enhance your life, and you flinched. All right, so in the meantime, I'm reading this comment from Giovanna. All right, currently in Trinidad, joining via Zoom. That is great. Okay, Joanna. So, Guess it's about 3, 4 o'clock for you then, right? All right, anybody else? Thank you for your answer. Anybody else? Can you relate to this topic, flinching? You want to go ahead and do something, but you may get this butterfly feeling. You may get this anxiety. You may get a consideration that maybe you shouldn't. All right, Eilish. Okay, good. Yes. Right. Now, so we're going to go to the next definition. I'm just touching upon a few definitions, just 2 in this case, to show a bit of a better picture what we're dealing with tonight. All right, good. So the next one here is confront. All right, to confront something. Right, what does that mean, to confront something? It's used as a verb, confront, which means direct observation. To face without flinching or avoiding. All right, so let's say we're doing a direct observation with an angry neighbor, or we're doing a direct observation with a boss, or we're doing a direct observation, for example, with an angry dog. All right, so what does it say? The etymology, the root, it says to stand in front of, like this sketch here. To be facing, face to face. From Latin, cum, which means with or together, and frontum, your forehead. In other words, stand in direct opposition to is from the 1580s, and bring face to face with another, with the evidence, is from the 1620s. In other words, if you look at the derivation, cum, with, plus frontum, forehead, it basically is like forehead to forehead. Now, going back to the definition, there it says to face without flinching or avoiding. In other words, if you confront something, if you are able to confront something, you would not flinch. If you are able to confront something, you would not avoid it. And here we see the relationship right away with procrastination. If we see that, for example, let's say we have a difficult task. One of my personal examples, like in the past, I would have a tremendous difficulty to find new potential clients, prospects. In other words, prospecting, which was, all right, I just have to get the yellow pages and find new clients and call them up and basically invite myself, make an appointment to see that new customer, and then to find out if he was willing to have me, willing to receive me. And so maybe some of you guys can relate to that. That always cost me tremendous amount of stress and butterfly feelings and all these negative feelings, right? Feeling really like suppressed somehow. And I could not really confront doing that action. And as a result, every time I would pick up the phone, of course, and what would I do? I would flinch. I would flinch, I would not confront, and I would actually avoid it. Now, you may have seen with yourself that when you cannot confront something and you have to do something, you might say to yourself, well, let's have a break. Well, let's get a coffee right now. Oh, you know what? Actually, I should talk to a colleague to see what he or she thinks about this, and so on. All right? Can you, just a quick question with you guys again, can you relate to this concept of to confront? Either you can confront or you cannot confront it. Being face to face. All right, so Giovanna says, yes, public speaking does make me flinch. All right, thank you for your answer. Okay, Mass V says, for example, when a conflict rises with a team member in sport with another member, and then he or she needs to confront to solve the conflict, right? You see where it goes, right? Now, here's a very interesting datum, which is if you can confront it, you can handle it. You can just let that sink in for a moment. If you can confront it, you can handle it. In other words, if you can't handle it, there must be something there that you cannot confront. There must be something there that makes you flinch. All right? Good. So let's see, where does this lead to? Now, obviously, if there's something there that makes you flinch, if there's something there that makes you bend, turn aside, take a detour, do something else, then there must be something there that causes that makes that happen. So we want to have a look at that tonight. What is it that makes this happen, that creates that impulse in you, that you flinch, that you have this idea, I cannot confront this. I have to escape the situation. I have to do something else. What is that idea? Now, so we're gonna hover over into the field of the mind. Now, before we do that, I have a quick question for you. I have a quick question. Do you think that anybody has actually solved the mystery of the mind? What is the mind? What is it that holds you back? What is it that causes you stress or makes you flinch? And even better, how can you fix that? Do you think that anybody has actually resolved this misery? That's my next question to you. Use the chat, please. Put something in there, even your own ideas. In the meantime, I'm just gonna wipe this out again. Joseph. Okay, Joseph. Are you, what country are you from, Joseph? That's an interesting name. It sounds a bit like Joseph. So I assume there's a deeper reason why we're avoiding something, which is mostly unconscious. All right. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for that answer. Eilish says, fear of failure. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for the answer. Joseph is from, all right, German, Croatia. All right, very cool. Very cool. Okay, good. All right, guys. So now let's have a little look. And of course, we can talk about this for hours. We're not going to, because the webinar is just 1 hour. We're going to do a quick demonstration on the mind. And here we go. So I'm just going to ask you to imagine something. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in your favorite chair in the living room in the house where you grew up as a child or as a teenager. So just see if you can get that setting again. Sitting in your favorite chair in the living room in the house where you grew up. Whether that be as a teenager, as a child. So, and what I want you to do, once you have that image, what I would like you to do, obviously I cannot see what you do. I can just see the camera in front of me and a microphone here and some lights. But what I would like you to do is just do this exercise just to make your own discovery with this tonight. So here we go. Imagine you're sitting in your favorite chair. You're in that living room again. And now what I want you to do, I want you to find the TV in the room and point at it. So from where you're sitting, just tell yourself, okay, the TV would be right there. For example, or the TV would be in front of me, or the TV would be to my left or my right. And then just get the idea how many feet or yards or meters that TV is away from your chair, from you. All right? So if you have that, let's have a look at the TV. Can you actually see the frame? Can you see what it's sitting on? Is it sitting on a dresser? Or is it sitting on some table? Or perhaps is it mounted on the wall? And can you see where the on-off switch is? Right. Now, if you have that, maybe you're going to see some flashes. Flashes like pictures flashing by. You get these images, just flashing by in front of you. If you had that, that's very good. Now let's go to the next one. Let's see from where we're sitting if we can find a table, just any table. Could be a dining table, could be a small table, whatever. So what I want you to do is find a table and just point at it. Maybe you have a table right in front of you. And if you have, can you see its dimensions? Its height, the size, perhaps the color, or even the surface. Was it smooth? Was it lacquered? Maybe it had a little carpet on it. What kind of table was it? Did it have drawers? Okay. Now the last one I want you to do is that from where you're sitting, I want you to find a door, any door, and I'll point at it. So for example, if I go back to my childhood, I would have a TV over there. I will have a table over here and a table over there behind me, and then also behind me, probably like 5 meters away, we had a big living room. There was a door to the kitchen. All right, so now I want to ask you, were you able to do this? Were you able to do this, and did you actually see some pictures? Did you get some images? All right, so here we have Kira Boyle. Kira, you're back again. Lovely. That's fantastic. Okay, and we see your comment again. That's great. So Kira says, all right, there's times when I was asleep and somehow in my dream, I slipped on the ice, but my body reacted to it. I just woke up then because I flinched. That's amazing. I can so relate to that. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Kira. All right, so guys, were you able to do this little drill? And we're actually going to build on that a little bit tonight. So just a yes or no. Were you able to imagine yourself back again in the chair and point out where the TV was, where the table was, where the door was, for example? Were you able to do that? Just a yes or no. And perhaps maybe you didn't get to see any pictures. That's fine. But maybe you knew, just knowing, like, all right, well, I know that we have a TV over there, or I know that we had a table over there, or I know that we had a window over there, or a door over there. Yes, all right. So I assume most of you guys actually could see that. All right, so I'm going to let you in on something. Here is the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. You're going to be surprised. So this is so cool. So let's assume that is your body. Now, you have a mind, and your mind makes pictures. Your mind makes pictures. So what do we see? We actually see that these pictures are three-dimensional. They are 3D. Now, it's a very, very interesting phenomenon because these pictures, we would call them mental pictures. You would call them mental pictures. You would not call them materialistic pictures because you cannot touch them. You cannot put them on a scale and weigh them. Right? You cannot put them on some kind of a physics measurement device and then measure it. Right? They seem to have no mass. They seem to have no, well, any kinds of these kind of things like mass, energy, weight. It exists in time and exists in space. These mental image pictures, they don't seem to have that. Now, the funny thing is that we just pointed out these pictures are three-dimensional. So when you think of that living room, you can actually recreate that living room around you again. Here's the kicker. You didn't point inside your head to say, well, the TV is over here, and then the table is over there, right? And the door is in the back of my head. You didn't do that, right? Instead, you pointed about you. So there's something mental going on, perhaps even something spiritual. I don't want to go there tonight, but it makes an interesting topic, doesn't it? All right. So if I would say primary school, do you get a picture? Do you get a flash? If I would say, have you ever had a pet, like a canary, or a dog, or a cat, or a hamster? Did you just get a picture? Right. If I would say, did your daddy own a car? Did you get a picture? Of course, your mind makes all these pictures. So altogether, that's like a long footage, right? You have a long footage of pictures. So how do you use that mind? Well, it's kind of interesting. Let's say you come home, you drop your keys on a dresser, you go somewhere else. After 2 hours, you realize, oh gosh, I need to do some shopping. And you put your hands in your pocket and you say, oh, where's my keys? Now, are you going to roam around the entire house and trying to find your keys and looking for your keys? Actually not. You're going to consult your pictures and you're going to find the picture and your mind will tell you where you put your keys. That's how it works. All right? Does that make a little bit of sense here, guys? Just to see if you're tracking. When I have a sip of my tea, does this make a little bit of sense? Just curious if you are tracking. Yeah, does this make a little bit of sense? Can you follow this? Does it make sense? Okay. So Giovanna is very chatty. But you're from the Caribbean. I know Caribbean people are very communicative. I like that. That's amazing. Thank you, Giovanna. Okay, so you're tracking. That is awesome. All right, now let's imagine, let's take it one step further. Let's imagine that many years ago, you had a horrendous experience with some kind of a ferocious dog. Let's say you were young and the dog bit you. And you were screaming and crying of pain. The dog was tearing your flesh off. You were bleeding. And in the very last moment, you were saved by somebody and brought over to the hospital. Over there, it wasn't over yet, because now they had to stitch you up. And they had to put all kinds of needles in your body and take blood tests, and you're being surrounded in this cold atmosphere, environment, with a bit of a strange smell to it, and all these bright lights on you, and strange people like doctors and nurses with instruments clicking and making funny sounds and talking in their own language. And you were just panicking, like, what is going to happen to me? So let's imagine somewhere down the line in your mind, you had that dreadful experience. So there's a dog there. I don't know, my pictures are not great, but there's a dog there attacking you, and that blue flesh, that symbolizes the pain. And this could be like emotional pain. It could also be physical pain. All right? So that pain happens to be recorded in your mind. We're going to elaborate on that a little bit. Now let's say from here, this one led to being admitted to the hospital, right? And let's say it involved syringes and blood tests, what have you. It's the whole package there. That whole package happens to be over here, nicely recorded in your mind. Now, you probably agree with me, none of this was actually pleasant. It was highly unpleasant. It might even be very traumatic, right? And so that traumatic experience has been recorded in your mind. All right, so, well, let's forget about it. This is many, 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 many years ago. Now we're walking down the street. We're walking down the street over here. We're going in that direction. And what happens? All of a sudden, we see a dog. Now the dog has some similarity. This dog has some similarity with a dog over here in the experience many years ago. All right, so what is your mind going to tell you? Or if it's somebody else, what would his mind, her mind do at that moment? So that's just another question, guys. What is going to happen here? What do you guys think is going to happen? All right, guys, use the chat. Just let's see what kind of answers we can come up with. All right, Andrew, Dennis, Eilish, Fede, Joseph, Giovanna, Lindsay, Maz, Rita, and Jiha, I'm inviting you, use your keyboard and put something in the keyboard. This guy is going for a walk. All of a sudden, he sees that dog, and the dog has some similarities with the dog in the traumatic incident. What is he going to do? Okay, so we have the first answer here. Eilish. Flinch, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is why I brought up that first word. He's going to flinch. He's going to avoid, take a detour, do something else. Get this very unpleasant feeling, right? Okay, Andrew says, fear the dog, might bite. Exactly. Giovanni, probably avoid getting close to the dog. Indeed. All right, guys. So, now, this might all sound very good. The subconscious mind must be, the subconscious mind is going to revive that image again. Exactly. That is what is going to happen. Now, we have just seen that image has no matter in it. It is not tangible. You cannot touch it. So it's something flimsy, right? You can't even see it unless you really put your attention on it. So there's something mental happening at that moment, right? Rita says freeze or stop. Okay, good. So what is happening here? This is where our mind makes a mistake. It confuses this dog with that dog. It confuses this moment in time with that moment in time. It confuses this location with that location. That is, ladies and gentlemen, that is complete irrationality. It might be a very sweet dog, but moreover, the mind is going to use this force and direct that force at that person to make him flinch to stop confronting and to do something else. Now, you might say, all right, well, Erik, that's all right. Thank you very much. But you know what? I don't have any problem with dogs. Okay. Well, what if we say there's a hospital here that you need to get into? Well, you might flinch, you might get a little bit nervous. Something might get triggered. You might get this feeling that you want to get out of there. All right. What if you have to go for a blood test? The same thing might happen. You could literally put anything there. Now, I'm just giving you this example. There's a lot more to it. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you a few suggestions of things that you can actually read and study to find out more about this. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is just, this is pretty much how the mind works in just a 10-minute nutshell. Kind of amazing, isn't it? You wouldn't find that in any self-help book. You wouldn't find that in any psychology textbook. But there is a book that lays it out nicely for you so you can actually understand. Now, I want to go quickly to the next slide, which is a confront scale. And let me see, Kiara has a comment. Maybe Dita, you can help me with a confront scale. Kiara says, the boy might be afraid of the dog because he might not know the dog very well. Exactly. He's still going to flinch. He's still not going to confront the dog. If you replace the dog with any other kind of situation, it might be the boss, and he's got a nasty situation there in the past with a boss, and he's now unwilling to approach the boss or confront the boss. The flinching goes automatically because this thing here just kicks in automatically. That force produces this anxiety stomach, kicks in automatically, it controls him, and he cannot shake it. That's how it works. All right? Cool. Now, let's just go to the next scale. I think we can just leave that here a little bit. All right, so a confront scale. There's actually a scale. Imagine like a scale, like a ladder, right? Like things can actually improve or they can actually get worse. Now, here's a scale and everybody's on that scale. Now, at the bottom of the scale, you see the word dubbing. This is actually from the Hollywood TV and film industry. It basically means you're recording footage, for example, but you still have to add the sound. You have to add the sound, or you have to add the voiceover, the voices, or the dialogues, whatever. In other words, you have the footage and you have to dub in some sound or perhaps other imagery. And so what does that mean? You could actually, let's say, you can actually look at your boss, but you're dubbing in something. You're adding something in. He says, well, he looks very, very occupied today. He probably can't receive me now. No, he's too busy. He would probably get upset if I would ask for his time or attention. That would be a dub in. It's like you try to confront, you try to have a look, but then you have some kind of thoughts that kick in and kind of like take over. Have you seen this? Quick question. Have you seen this? Have you observed something like that? That you felt like, okay, you know what? You wanted to do something, but then all of a sudden you became hesitant. And you had this second thought that just kicked in, some thought kicked in and took over, and you said, you know what? Let's not do it. Have you seen that phenomenon? A phenomenon yourself? Just yes or no. Let's do it quick because we have 15 more minutes. Have you seen this idea? You want to do something, you look at something, and then you say, you know what, I have a second thought. I'll give you my example, right? I look at the phone in the past, right? Right now I'm very good on the phone. But let's say in the past, I look at the phone and I say, oh gosh, that customer, he's gonna bark at me. That customer's gonna be really unfriendly when I call him. That's the whole idea. You want to do something, and then a thought just kicks in and tells you you're in danger. You shouldn't be doing this. It's a dubbing. It's a thought that comes together with an observation. Right? So Rita says no. All right. So do you get the concept, Rita? Do you get the idea? Do you get the idea that you're trying to do something, but then you have all these kind of thoughts that hold you back. It says no, don't go there. All right, gut feeling. Exactly. Yeah, it could also be a feeling. Good. All right, so I think you get it. All right, so the next one is invisible. You make yourself invisible. So let's say let's put it like this. What is procrastination really? Well, you know that there are certain things that you really want to do. Well, there are certain things that you know that you should be doing to make your life a little bit better. It's these things that you know that you should be doing to make your life better, but you're not doing them. That is what procrastination, well, that's how it really affects you, right? It's something that really affects you. You may have certain dreams that you want to make come true for yourself. Even like New Year's resolutions this year. But how do you make these resolutions stick if something comes in between every time and sabotages whatever it is that you actually want to do, right? So there's certainly things that you know that you want to do, that you should be doing, and then something comes in there, takes over the control, you flinch, you don't confront it, and you do something else. All right? So, and what that something else could be, you can have this dubbing, you can also make yourself invisible. It's, oh my gosh, you know what? I gotta disappear for a while. And this could be something like you become sick, you stay home, you can't handle it, you can't confront it. Yeah, you make yourself invisible. Or you say, you know what, I'm gonna lock myself up on the toilet, and I'm not gonna come out before this whole project is done, and then I'm gonna show up again. Just make yourself invisible. One more up would be to go elsewhere, which is like, okay, good, well, I know that I have to do this, but let me go and get a coffee first. Let me go and talk to a colleague first, right? We're actually moving a little bit up in terms of confronting things, but we're still not there in full participation. One more up, we're actually going to get to experiencing and participation, but we're not totally there yet. We're lacking the tools. We're definitely participating, and we're gaining some experience, but we're not totally there yet in getting the production that we want. And all on top, we have basically the person has assumed the beingness that he should have, which is like he feels confident, he feels he can do it, he feels he can confront it, he feels he doesn't have to flinch, or actually he doesn't even flinch, he's just able to do it. Now, there's two ways to handle this. One way is the ability to confront. So there is a way that you can actually improve your confront. There's a way that you can do that. You can actually raise your ability to face people. And like I said in the beginning, if you can confront it, you can also handle it. In other words, if you can confront a colleague, a client, somebody in your team, a boss, and so on. If you can confront that individual, then you can also handle that individual. And when you confront, you actually don't flinch. Now, there's some communication exercise that you can do to better and to improve your confront. There's also a way to handle this automatic force that takes over, that makes you flinch on full automaticity, and you can also get rid of that. So if that one doesn't kick anymore, and you don't have that anxiety stomach anymore, all these butterfly feelings, all these bad feelings, bad thoughts about yourself, reducing yourself, then of course your ability to be yourself and to accomplish things and do things will also improve. Okay, so I have a question again for you, and that is, I've been trying to get the idea across that, all right, well, maybe if we start to confront life a little bit more, things will get better. And if we handle that negative portion of the mind, which makes us flinch, go out of confront, take over our thoughts in a negative way, if we can control that, life would certainly be better, right? So my question here is this. You've been here tonight because of procrastination, and you want to probably be here. You're probably here also as well because you may want to be more motivated to get things done for yourself. So if you just look at the past, you can see how your past has been. And you may see that, all right, well, I had some difficulty confronting things. I would flinch at quite a number of things. I may not have gotten the things done or achieved that I wanted to get done, and that is still the same today. So now, you don't have to do anything to just continue with that in your future. You don't have to do anything. This will just continue forever, and actually it will only get worse unless you want to do something about it. So here's my question. Who wants to do something about it? Just put something in the chat. Yes, I'm interested. Or no. So who wants to handle that procrastination? All right? Okay, I said, all right, I'm interested. Joseph, yes, interested. Guys, gosh, I noticed I've been shouting here. I need to catch my voice. It's so funny, I've been watching operas lately, and I wonder, like, how can these people just, yell out of their throats and lungs for hours on stage? That is an accomplishment. All right, good. So Joseph, you're interested. Anybody else, guys? That's great. So who else has this feeling like, yeah, you know what? I definitely want to make improvements, because I'm going to put something nice on the screen for you just in a moment. But I would like to have your answers. Okay, good. Rita, yes, very interested. That's great. Anybody else? Just gonna wait for a minute because we still have, we still have almost 10 minutes. Nice. I want to put another nice chart on the screen before we end off tonight. Mass, all right. Probably. Okay, very good. All right, Giovanna, yes, interested. Lovely. Okay. Well, that's good. Keep it coming. Yeah. So we're with a positive mindset here. Yeah. People actually want to change, and your future just depends on you. Of course, we can actually look at the environment, and we can look at what's going on planet Earth. And if you were, well, let's say you were in a spaceship, right? And you're kind of like floating around in the universe, and you are looking to find a planet that could actually give you some action. Well, you arrived on planet Earth. There's plenty of action here, right? Well, it's totally up to you to make it go right. Bottom line is nobody's going to step up for you and help you to survive better. That's something that you have to do. And imagine that there is a technology available right now that is just there for you, waiting to be found out about and used, and you can actually make improvements. That'd be great, right? So, all right, here we go. What I want to offer you is a free personality test. Yeah, that's one of the things I want to offer you, so you can actually see what are your strong points, what are your weak points, where do you accomplish things, and where you don't accomplish things. And before I'm going to give you the link, I actually want to give you an idea what it looks like. And so we're going to put up a picture on the screen, which is a actual personality test of somebody. I'm just going to show you what you're going to find in that test. So first of all, you have that graph, and that graph actually represents the opinion of the person himself about his own survival. That's his or her opinion about his or her own survival, right? And you can actually see those, you have the upper white part, the bottom white part, and you have the gray part in the middle. So the upper white section, that is where you actually want to have your scores, because that would actually indicate that your mind is in a very good shape. Whatever life throws at you, you feel you can comfortably handle. And you get quite the opposite in the bottom white section, which is where this thing here runs on full automatic and actually controls you. Now, for example, let's say you're acting kind of shy. And if I would ask you, well, do you want to be shy? You would say, no, of course not. Well, why are you shy if you don't want to be? But the graph would indicate that that is how you use that capacity. So in the top gray section in the middle, you kind of like get by as long as there's no calamities, no disasters taking place in your life. And in the bottom gray section, that's where you actually know that you are in danger. Now, if we split it up, because there's 10 columns there, right? The first 3 columns, that is your regard for you. That's how you look at yourself. And there you have in column A, you have your let's say your concentration, your mental focus. And in column B, you have the happiness. Are you actually achieving your goals? Column C, you have the nervousness versus calmness. Then we continue with column D, that is actually the person's confidence. Now, column E, F, and G, that tells something about the person's actions. And it starts with column E, which shows the activity levels of the individual. Column F, the perseverance, and then column G, the responsibility. The last 3 columns have everything to do with your relationships, and it shows how well do you listen, how much empathy do you have, and how well do you communicate. So from such a test, you can actually see where you can make immediate improvements. And the beauty is that we have online tools that you can even do for free to start making improvements right away. And that is how cool it is, right? So normally what we do on a Tuesday evening, we do a nice sales pitch, and we offer you a book and say, well, you know what, go ahead and read this book, because this book is all about your mind. It tells you exactly what limits your potential and holds you back. And then we usually make an offer. And that's always working well. And people love these books. We get fantastic feedback. Now, these books are not just nice to read kind of books. They're actually scientific, and they can actually help you to apply that stuff in life and increase your potentials. So allow me in the meantime to see what we just wrote down. So just to have an idea, guys, how much a person can actually improve. 2 years ago, and this is from Dita, I can say 2 years ago, Dita, she was 20 by the time, had everything under minus 60. In other words, like all the scores in the bottom. 1 month ago, I had everything above 60 points. Yeah, you can see with a little bit of effort, knowledge, application, this can actually change very fast, right? So Dita, that is a well done. And I've seen that with myself as well. Being super scared to make phone calls, to change the whole thing to being very comfortable to make phone calls. Being quite reluctant to speak in public to finding it pleasant to speak in public. All right, so my final question for tonight is, who would like to do this test and who would like to get some more information on this, on how you can actually make improvements in this new year 2025? I think I just asked that question already before. Maybe it's a bit redundant. Nevertheless, the main question here is who actually would like to do this personality test. Now, to give you an idea, the test would actually come to my computer. I'd be very happy to share the results with you right away. They would come for free. And if you want, you can even get a quick consultation on the phone, and I can explain to you what you can see in the test and how you can make your improvements. Right? So Rita already says yes. All right. Rita, you're in the vanguards. I see. That's good. That's amazing. Good. Anybody else, guys? Now, of course, we can just confront it, not flinch. Let's handle it, right? Let's see what comes your way. Might be something good. Say that again. Yeah. We can put the test. All right. So guys, for those of you who actually want to do the test, Dita has just shared the link online. You can just go ahead and do the test. It's a test that would last on average about half an hour. All right, guys. So I think we had a nice evening. Welcome again for being here. It's been great to have you. I love the participation, and I love the fact that we had so many people from across the globe, from everybody joining here from, like, what was it? Croatia, Germany, UK, Ireland, different parts. Then we had Trinidad and Tobago. Did I forget anything? Well, probably I did, but it's been great. It's been great. Lovely to have you guys. Now, before we end off, still have a couple of minutes. Is there anybody who has a question? Anybody who wants to ask a personal question, perhaps? Or do I don't know, last minute kind of clarification of something? All right, guys. Now, then, final announcement. Tomorrow night, we are going to do another webinar. It's 1 hour earlier than tonight. It's an amazing subject. It is part of our webinar series, which is called The Mind Explained. And what you saw here tonight, that picture of the dog and the guy, and seeing another dog over there, we're going to make a deep dive into these mechanisms and how they actually work. That is based on a book. It's a book on the mind that I'm going to reveal tomorrow night. If you want to be there, just find it on Meetup. It's going to be tomorrow. Just register. And we have piloted it back in December, and people absolutely loved the content. So we're going to take direct quotes from the book and show you these quotes, put them into examples that you can immediately relate to it. And you're going to get a profound understanding of what it is that is limiting your potential, holding you back, causing you stress. And most of all, you're going to find out how you can actually fix that and make lasting and permanent improvements. All right? Okay, so everybody, thank you so much. We're going to end off here. I really hope to see you again. And have a great evening. Let me see. Hang on a second. Don't go. Dita said, Erik, there's another comment there. All right, so Kara Boyle. Okay, this show was absolutely fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much for letting us all participate through our comments. Yeah, I love that, guys. Actually love it when we're so much in communication together. Communication makes life so much more pleasant, doesn't it? Yeah, if we do it right, isn't it? So when is the next webinar to this topic? So Joseph, tomorrow night is certainly one not to miss. It's going to give you much more data on the same topic, because procrastination is just, there's something there that is holding you back, right? If you have a lack of confidence, it's just something there that is holding you back. If you feel that you're shy, that you can't communicate, there's just something there that is holding you back. If you're not achieving your goals in life, that's just something there that is holding you back. So that is a must find out, I would say. And that will be tomorrow night. For anything else, like improving relationships, communication, knowing who you can trust, the narcissist, what have you, it's all there on Meetup. Have a look, and I look forward to see you again. All right, guys. So, 7 minutes past 9. Thank you for being here, staying here, and once again, I look forward to see you again. Bye for now.